Hi, good morning, and welcome to the world of podcasts. So let's get started, shall we? Then you have FS5, fill in the gaps with a word, change the word, fill in the gaps, okay, choose the correct one, and choose the correct one. Okay, so I'm going to show the answers in 3, 2, 1. Please don't cheat, okay? This is like silly, okay? Sometimes it appears more perhaps with there being omitted. You have to realize that it is there, especially when you have is rather than are, because sometimes it is and there is are confused by students. Okay, I put this on purpose because very often, even in this podcast, which is prepared by the BBC website or group, English people use there is a million because you have there's a lot, even when you have something. When you have a plural noun, the correct form is there are a million songs, but very often you hear there's a million songs, there's a lot of songs. Okay, but here it's curious that they wrote it well, and here it's is because it's singular. Okay, so easy peasy. Now broken-hearted, like Maxine de Winter in Rebecca, broken-hearted. Famously, from famously, you need an adverb to modify the verb. Now who is a very typical word. Here you could write that, as you have no comma, but the answer was that. Here, just remind me of. Okay, this is very typical. Now, despite is a nightmare. Whenever it appears, students are likely to make mistakes. So, despite plus a noun structure, see, the sentence ends there. You could say it at the beginning. Despite their fighting families, Romeo and Juliet are two famous lovers who fall in love. Okay, so you can change the order, but despite their fighting families, that's like already a sentence. Despite the bad weather, comma, I went for a run. Despite whatever. Okay, so despite. In spite, it would be in spite of. And with although, you need a sentence. Although their families fought, so you have a complete sentence with a subject and a verb, conjugated verb. Okay, so whose? Possession. The song belongs to her. Whose song? This one is normally a problem too because we don't reuse the translation in Spanish, which is 3, 2, 1. Cuyo. Cuya canción. We hardly ever use. I don't think I use it, and I feel bad using it. Okay, work out. It didn't work out. It didn't have a good result. This is in Unit 8, I think, which I've just done with a group. Okay, so next round, your favorite word, succeed. Despair is a difficult one. Okay, you have to change it. Anyway, go for it. I'm going to show the answers in 3, 2, 1. Be honest and do this well, please. Some important words, okay? Successful, modifying musician, successful musician. You can have 2 adjectives. The new red chair. So you can have 2 adjectives before it. Okay, remember this can be an adjective or an adverb. Sometimes the adverb would modify the adjectives, like a very new chair. So very is not modifying the noun, very is modifying how new the chair is. Okay, but here you can have 2 adjectives. In English you can have many adjectives, one after another, modifying the same noun. Okay, so from succeed, notice the pronunciation E, but then successful. Okay, only one E, like bed, fed, tent, whatever. That is normally pronounced A, and this is normally pronounced E. Okay, so spelling double C, 1 E, double S, only 1 L, please. It is true that if you wrote the adverb, then you'd have another L to make the adverb. But as it is, successful. Now, from despair, desesperarse, desperate is the noun. What's the problem with this? Is that you tend to write desesperate, like the way we do in Spanish. Desesperado, desesperate. That's one problem. The other problem, they want to write desesperated. Desperated, okay, because in Spanish is desesperado. So normally when we have ado, like cansado, tired, it's normal to write the D. Cansado, tired, aburrido, bored, etc. But there's no D. It's like separate. Okay, my children sleep in separate rooms. So separate doesn't have a D. Okay, unless it's a verb. No, I have separated the boys from the girls. It's a joke. Don't act on it. Okay, go for it. Come on, you can do it. Go for it. A por ello. Go for it. Now, the beliefs. Okay, you have from believe, you have a noun belief. Okay, yeah, plural, but you have to be careful that even when it is plural, it doesn't change. It's not like other words, you know, that, sorry, knife becomes knives, wife, wives, etc. Okay, however, with belief, the plural is still with an S. Okay, beliefs. And worthwhile, this appears in the exit test for the B2 book. Worthwhile is something that's worth it. So I feel it's well worthwhile, like válidos, worthwhile. The time that you spend doing this should be regarded as worthwhile. So worth it. Okay, so worth would be, you'll be missing it. Worthy is normally followed by of. Guys, I'm not worthy of your confidence. Worthy, I'm not worthy of, no soy merecedor de. Okay, so these words are usually confused. And I think we have the last round now. I'm afraid it's not the last round yet. Okay, we'll do these 3 and then there are 2 more. Okay, so go ahead, do the same, and I'm going to show the answers in 3, 2, 1. Now go for it. This was repetition. So encourage, which was in the last podcast. Used to encourage, from encourage you need the verb. It was in the placement test, which some students did last week. Realistic, also they have a negative, unrealistic, but again in the placement test too. Real is something that exists. Realistic is something that can become real or can be achieved. Okay, it's not realistic for me to want to become a football player, a professional football player. So we need to be more realistic, like think straight and think about what can actually be real. Okay, so I'm realistic. Some situations are unrealistic. You can't believe they are true, for example. Okay, then you can also say unreal or surreal. So this is complicated, but anyway, realistic is something that can happen and you think it's likely to be true. Okay, like it's a realistic ambition for you to want to become a teacher, police officer. It's a realistic ambition. It's something that can happen. Okay, get over it. Again, this appears also in unit 7. Get over it. You have a problem, you need to get over it, superarlo, like as we've done with Spain being knocked out of the World Cup. We had to get over it. Okay, in the last round, just 2 more. Here you need to rewrite. Okay, rewrite this part. Very easy. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so as if your heart is broken. Okay, so your heart is not broken, but as if your heart is broken, como si. And then from a strong strength in the placement test that people usually do before the B2 book, you have a strengthen, the verb, so strength with th. Likely, something that can happen, makes it more likely the story ends happily. And then unlike, contrast. So not like the tale of Romeo and Juliet, which didn't end happily. And that's it. Thank you very much. Bye.